Thank you guys for tuning in to today's video. Today we're actually gonna talk a lot about the 2022 Honda Civic. You can say I'm a Honda guy. So we have Belly here, we have Blackberry here, aka Berry, and then we have Onyx over here. Berry's a little dirty today, but we're gonna go take her out, get her some gas, and kind of talk about what it's like actually owning a 22 Civic. Especially the Touring. We have about 3 more months, I think 4 more months till we actually officially own this car for a year, but just pretend we had it for a year. So like I said, this model is the Touring model, and with the Touring, this is the highest package you can go. So the Civics come in hatchback and sedan, and I've made tons of videos on the Civic. If you're new to the channel, I'm gonna put a link above my head. Take off the parking sensor, bugging out. I'm gonna put a link above my head. You guys are gonna see all the other videos I've made on the Civic, but I kind of just want to talk about what it's like owning one. I do want to give you guys like a brief kind of history of cars I've owned. So since I've lived in New Mexico, I've had a 2016 Accord, I had a 1990 Accord, we had a 2015 Civic, we've had a 2020 CR-V Touring, and then right now we have the 09 SI, the 12 Acura, and this 22 Civic. And just to put a cherry on top, I actually work at Honda. Like, I sell Hondas, you know, for a living, and I've been there about 6 years. So I should know a thing or two about Honda. Very sunny morning. So in the sedan, we're gonna talk specifically about the sedan. I mean, the sedan and hatchback drive very similar. Obviously, the LX and Sport will be different than the EX, EXLs, and Touring. Being that these have the 1.5 turbo and LX and Sport has the 2-liter non-turbo, so 158 horsepower versus 180. The biggest difference you're gonna see between the two is that the turbo motor, obviously, the torque kicks in earlier. But to be honest, if you can't decide between a Sport or EX or Sport or EXL, I mean, it's really not a hard decision. Like the way how it drives is not going to make it hard for you to choose. What it will be is the features in the car, because the 1.5 and the 2-liter, like I said, they're very similar in horsepower. I mean, the 1.5 obviously makes more power. Obviously, it's the more funner to drive, and it has more torque. But it's not a day and night difference to the point where, you know, like it's not gonna be a deal breaker. I've sold a lot of Civics, especially these 22s, and most of the customers, you know, it really don't come down to turbo or non-turbo. It's mostly price and features, and the Sport is, like, I'll say, the #1 trim level. It's funny because in the previous generation, the 10th gen, EX, I'll say, was like the kind of most popular, and then they brought the Sport out like last minute, and then more people started buying the Sport. But right now for 22, Sport is kind of where you will see everywhere. Like, Honda is not producing any LXs right now. They're producing a bunch of Sports. They're barely making EXs, and they're making a handful of Tourings. And I'm speaking from New Mexico's market. You know, you may live somewhere else where they do produce more LXs or whatever, but here in New Mexico, right now, they're not producing a bunch of them. I'll say my most favorite feature in the Touring Civic will be the wireless CarPlay and the Bose system. Like, the Touring, out of all the models, it's a huge difference when it comes to features. Like, jumping from an EX to a Touring is like, I don't know, Honda just went crazy and just threw everything in this car. Oh look, they go hatchback. It's just so convenient having wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You come in, it connects automatically. You really have no worries. It comes with a wireless phone charger too that I noticed that I don't use that much, only because it doesn't charge your phone that much. I mean, wireless pads usually don't. I mean, they're making better ones now. But the one that comes with the Civic, you know, that guy, it charges your phone, but not as fast as you plugged it in. And to be honest, being that I have, you know, an iPhone 13 Pro Max, the battery life on those are like A1, so I really don't worry about charging anyways. Another cool feature is the full digital cluster, because if you get anything below Touring, you don't get this. You get that half analog, half digital cluster. But the full digital cluster is really cool. And I'm not gonna go into detail. Like I said, this guy just bust a U-turn right in front of me. I made a few videos on these features, so that's why I'm not gonna go really into detail. But this display is pretty cool because you have a wheel here, you have a wheel here, and it'll control both sides. This side's gonna be like navigation and stuff like that. This is gonna be like what music to listen to. CarPlay and stuff like that. Parking sensors is a good touch because Honda, you know, I don't think the Civic ever had a parking sensor here in the US, so it's cool that they have it, the sensors front and back. Overall, this is, I'll say, the best like daily overall Civic Honda's ever built. So this is, it's not, I won't say it's the best driving Civic in the world, but as far as like a consumer, as like, you know, something that's going to take you to work, take you to the grocery stores, take you to church, you know, whatever, this is the best daily we've had. Now, this is not my main driver. The Accuracy Effect is my main driver. This is Shelly's main driver. But whenever we're together, I'm the main driver driving this thing, and it's comfortable. The seats are comfortable, you know, the seating position is comfortable. Like, I really have no complaints on the drivability of this car. Plenty of power, you know, like I said, the torque kicks in a lot earlier than the previous generation, so it feels faster as well, even though it's not that, was like 6 horsepower faster than the previous 1.5s, but it feels faster because of it. One thing I do hate about the Touring is that being that the Touring has the bigger touchscreen display, if you get anything below this, you have the smaller touchscreen display. There's not a recall for this thing, but a lot of people are having issues where this screen rattles. And I had the issue with my car. It's not with every Touring, but there's a few Tourings out there where people are having the same complaint. So what the problem is where the screen is sitting. Below this screen, there's a space from, I guess, from the dash to the screen. If you go over bumps or just drive, it rattles because of the space. So what Honda has to do is actually put some like, I think like Teflon, or put some type of material between the screen and the dash. That way it doesn't rattle. That's Honda's fix for it. And when we bought this car, we did ran into that issue. And we did, you know, bring to my job and got it solved, but that is something to worry about. Another disappointment that the Touring Civic has is the Touring Civic used to come with heated back seats, and Honda got rid of it. Not sure what's going on with Honda getting rid of heated seats, because even with the SI no longer comes with heated seats. So I don't know what Honda has against heated seats in the States, because I think outside the United States you get heated seats. So I don't know. But yeah, there's no heated rear back seats. I mean, that doesn't bother me and Shelly because it's just me and her. But they took it away, you know, like, it's kind of weird. Another miss that Honda kind of messed up on this car is not putting a lower lumbar support. Like, if you're buying a Touring, the Touring is like 30 grand. You're getting the highest Civic, and I get it. No Civic had lumbar support, but if you're doing a lot of firsts, shouldn't you add lumbar support on here? Now, I have my seat positioned a certain way, and it stays there and it's fine, so I have no issues, but I feel like if you're someone older, because more older people are buying this car. Due to the looks being a little bit more conservative, you know, it's not as aggressive as the previous generation, more older people are buying this car, and that's what Honda wanted. Honda didn't want just a younger crowd to buy this car, even though this is kind of your entry. This is the cheapest car you can buy from Honda, so this is how buyers are going to be introduced to the brand, and most likely it's going to be first-time drivers. But there are people out there that don't need a Accord, that don't need a big Accord, don't need a big CR-V. You know, the fit is gone, and maybe if they want a hatchback, you know, but they don't want a, they want a small car, you get a Civic still. But to be honest, I do not have much bad things to say about this car. Owning this car for about, I don't know, 8 months or something like that. You know, this is our daily driver. We have 8,000 miles on it. We don't really drive. I mean, if we go on trips, we take this car, obviously, but we don't drive that much. We probably drive about 10,000 miles per year on this car. On my other two cars, being that one is a weekend car, that thing is probably going to drop down to like 5,000 or 6,000 miles per year, and then my daily, I just go to work in it, so that's probably like another. So that one's probably like, you know, another 8,000 miles per year or something like that. Do I feel like the Touring trim is worth it? I really do. And I feel like all the trims are worth it because Honda gives you a lot of car for the money. And then this is not me just because I love Hondas and I work there or anything like that. Like me just owning this car every day and selling them every day, you know, Honda gives you a lot of stuff. Like, you don't buy this model and then you have to add a weather package or a safety package, or like all that stuff is standard. You know, Honda Sensing is standard. Speaking of Honda Sensing, it's cool that if you know, put on your cruise control or any Honda Sensing feature, it brings up a picture of a little car, and then you see how I'm braking. You put the signal on, and the signal comes on. Like, that's pretty cool. Another thing that's cool is that, one, you don't need premium in here, even though they're turbocharged. And it's a capless filler, no gas cap. Technically this is a gas cap, but since Honda went with this more chill styling, I like it. At first, everyone complained that it looks like a Jetta. It looks like a Stinger. It looks like all these other cars, but I feel like it's unique and it's a beautiful looking car, especially in the touring trim. Get the touring specific wheels. It sucks that you have to get a touring to get fog lights. Before, Sporting Up had fog lights. I don't know why they did that too, but it is what it is. At least all of the Civics come with LED high beam and low beam and turn signals, so that's actually pretty cool. She is all done. I know I'm doing this and it's sunny as heck, so hopefully you guys can actually see what I'm looking at. You do have 3 different modes with the Civic. You have normal, econ, and sport. We actually drive it in normal, because in econ kind of, you notice the difference between econ and normal. Econ really limits your not really your power, but it takes a while to get up to speed with econ mode on. I mean, yeah, with econ mode on. And then sport mode, you know, it's, who cares about gas mileage? It allows you to spin the tires a little bit more easier, pretty much. But we leave it in normal. Normal is fine. It's a good balance between gas mileage and power. If you don't care about power at all, you're gonna leave it in econ mode. And if you like to, you know, that sporty feel, then you can put it in sport. I don't use the paddle shifters. The sport comes with paddle shifters, but I don't use those at all. Don't really need to. If I want to shift gears, I'll just get a manual transmission, you know, so don't really care for it. Like I was saying about the Honda sensing, so for example, I need to get to like 45 to show you lane keep assist. So when you turn on lane keep assist, see how it turns green? And then it'll show you, you know, if you're between, and then if it no longer read the lane, then it won't be green anymore. Look like you see the brake lights come on. Like this is a cool way to display Honda sensing. It just took Honda sensing before and it kind of enhanced it. And then even I came to a stop and it's still green, so it's still on. And then it does have the auto stop feature too, so when you come to a stop, it'll temporarily turn off the engine. I mean, most new cars have that now. I'm sure if you guys have been shopping, there's nothing really new. And then with adaptive cruise control, you can adjust the distance from the car in front of you. Right now I have it at 4 bars. But if somebody's in front of me, it'll automatically adjust. So when you switch lanes, you see it let you go over, and then once you're back in your lane, it goes back to green. It's pretty cool. People always ask me, oh, can I just let go of the wheel? I mean, it'll keep you centered, but then it'll tell you, put your hands back on the wheel. It'll say steering required. Like this feature is not made to drive, you know, drive for you, pretty much. So yeah, keep your hands on the wheel when you got adaptive cruise control on. I mean, you can have one hand on the wheel, you know, it's to help reduce fatigue, and you don't have to be gripping on the wheel too hard or anything crazy like that, but it's not driving by itself. Now, Honda is releasing another level of Honda sensing where it is autonomous driving, but I think they're starting to release it in Japan, actually, on the Acura Legend. We don't have the Legend here. On the Acura Legend, well, it's called Honda Legend, so they don't have Acura out there, but yeah, so that's gonna come out pretty soon. See, like, there's only one yellow on the ground and there's no line over here, so it's reading the curve sometimes, and then sometimes it'll disappear and say, oh, there's no lane over there, like how it is right now. So it's a cool system, and I can feel the steering wheel trying to keep me in between both sides, so it's pretty cool. But we don't need that on right now. Touring model does have its own built-in navigation system, which you're probably not going to use because you're going to use Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. That's kind of what everyone uses right now. But it's actually a nice little system. If your phone does lose service, at least you have that. So it's pretty cool. It's fast. It's not slow or anything like that. This whole infotainment system is way better than the previous Civics. So this, where you can adjust your apps and everything like this, I like this a lot better, especially on the bigger. I think it's like a 9-point-something inch display for the Touring. The Sport, EX, LXs get the smaller, I think 7-inch screen, but nice screen. I forgot to mention the quality on the backup camera on the 22 Civics are horrible. I think Honda reused, and I mentioned this before, I think Honda reused the same backup cameras from the 21 Civics, but it's on a bigger screen now, so the pixels looks disgusting. Like, it look like when you're backing up, it looked like somebody slapped a Game Boy Advance on the screen, and that's the quality you're looking at. I mean, it's not that bad. It don't look like my Acura. My TSX backup camera looks horrible. I don't even use it. So it don't look like it's like from 2012 or anything like that. But just, you know, being as a 22, they should at least updated that. But I forgot to mention that in the video. The Civics are not known for being the most quietest car. They are comfortable, you know, in the past, but they haven't been the most quietest. And with this generation, when you're cruising, especially on the highway, you can easily get to the speed limit or go above the speed limit and not even realize it, because it's so smooth and planted. You know, it's the previous generation was smooth, but way more it was a little bit more harsher than how it is now. I think for 22, Honda figured out to kind of dampen out the hardness of the ride. You can easily go above the speed limit and not even realize it, so you got to be careful, because that's how smooth it is, especially if you're used to having a 2021, a 20, 19, 18, 16, 15, 14, you know, any older Civic, you're gonna drive this and you're gonna be wild. Like you really are gonna be blown away. Like, this by far is one of my favorite driving cars in general. I've driven a lot of cars in this class, and there's no car that's touching the Civic. Like the Civic, as far as smoothness, you know, unless you go into the luxury realm, then that's different. But for this this market, the Corollas and Sentras and Elantras, and you know, like in this market, it's just hard to beat the drive of the Civic. The Civic is super smooth. Besides the few negative things that I feel like Honda missed, with just the touring trim with the Civic itself, this is the perfect daily commute. So one thing with the parking sensors, not only that it beeps at you when you get close to anything in front of you, behind you. If you're driving, I think, like around up to 3 miles per hour and you're gonna hit something, it will automatically brake for you. So like, let's say you're backing out of a traffic and then you're gonna hit like a parked car or something like that. It will brake for you. Like, it happened to me before. I think I was getting close to a car wash or something like, I don't know. I think one of the little, what's the thing in the car wash is called? I forgot the bristles or whatever, the brushes. I was getting close to one before I actually got in the car wash, and it broke, and it breaks too, because it thinks you're gonna hit something. But I was gonna hit it, but it wasn't like a solid. The car didn't know. But that is new for a Civic. I think that started on the Accord, and that's only on the Touring. So that's actually pretty cool. I mean, the parking sensor is only on the Touring too. One thing I can say about the Civic that you may not like is how low it is. So it's not low compared to my Civic, because my Civic is actually like on coilovers. Like I've actually lowered the car. It's a decent ground clearance, but with sedans sit lower. So if you're used to a CR-V or HRV or something like that, you're not gonna really like it. One thing I do like about the Tourings is the trunk. So it has, like, it automatically pops open for you. So with all the normal Civics, when you pop open the trunk, you have to manually lift it, but this, you pop it, opens all the way for you. Plenty of cargo space. Seats do fold down and they do split as well. But yeah, it's plenty of cargo space. No issues there. If you want more cargo space, then you get a hatch rack. I mean, simple as that. And then just sitting in the back seat, sitting behind, I believe, yeah, that's how my seat, I had it. You know, I have inches of room. Civic got bigger, so from the previous generation, this is almost 2 inches longer. So you do have more headroom, more leg room. If you get the hatchback, you're gonna even have even more headroom because it's a hatchback. But plenty of headroom, plenty of leg room, very spacious. You can see where my head is at, so you guys can get an idea. But no issues at all. You should have put USB-Cs back here with their USB-As, but that's still fine. At least you get USB ports back here. There's no vents back here, and none of the Civics. So don't expect that. And heated seats, I don't know why they took that away, but they did. Overall, I keep saying this is one of the best daily commuters you can get. We have no complaints of the thing at all. Shelly loves it. It's her daily commuter. The only issue is getting your hands on one now, because, you know, car shortage. If you think about getting one of these and you're not sure if you want to or not, all I gotta say is figure out what trim level works for you. You know, do you need something loaded? Do you not need something loaded? What's your budget? All the Civics is gonna drive A1. Like I said, no issues at all. I'm gonna end everything here. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions, anything I may have missed, just comment below, let me know. And stay tuned for the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video.